I mean, Erin Maguire, I bring you in here. This is this is not the left we're debating. This is the right. I mean, Peggy Noonan, the former Reagan speechwriter, her biggest concern is what Donald Trump's doing to the White House. I think Mr. Feder has the proper on-fire concern for all of us right now. Good morning.
Good morning. I think that, unfortunately, Peggy Noonan has gotten a little bit swept up in this East Wing liberal lunacy freakout. The president is delivering the golden era of America, and you won't see that anywhere richer than actually at this White House ballroom. It's just one microcosm of how Donald Trump is unapologetically leading this nation, and I would argue is likely the strongest president we have ever had when it comes to executive branch authority and work that this president is doing. And on the other hand, regarding Zoran Mamdani and the actual threats our nation faces when a socialist is about to take over New York City, there is an unprecedented level of foreign interest in Zoran Mamdani's race. And you can look at that twofold here. One is on TikTok. There is a report out from a third party that indicates that TikTok could be putting their thumb on the scale to support Zoran over Cuomo. Now, don't get me wrong. Cuomo's terrible. And Zoran, as of his own accord, run a much more digitally focused online campaign that could make up some of the difference. But this is a Chinese-backed CCP, Chinese Communist Party aligned app that is making sure that people are seeing more of Zoran than they are of Cuomo. And secondly, there has been a level of interest in foreign donations, which are illegal to accept, into Zoran's campaign. Tens of thousands of dollars of illegal foreign money that has come in and not yet been fully reimbursed. As a political person, it's not often you see foreign money enter into campaigns. But to see it at such a level for Zoran and him not immediately return it, that's a problem as well. There's a lot of foreign interest and a lot of foreign support for Zoran's race. And why is that? Because this is the fever dream Democrats have wanted for over a decade coming to reality. A real-life socialist who is on camera and has said previously that he came to the United States from Uganda to make this nation more like his own. That is the threat to democracy. That is the worry Americans should be staring down of what we are looking at in New York. Not the East Wing, not the president making sure that there's opportunity for diplomacy in a space that works for every president moving forward. That's not the threat to democracy. The threat to democracy is on our shores right now with a socialist about to take the helm in New York City.
Erin Maguire, Republican strategist who's worked at high levels, still works at very high levels, helping statewide national campaigns, and you work with a team of people I know who have done it at high levels for a long time. As you look at politics in 2025, are you alarmed or still confident in most voters across the country that they will reject the AOC, Bernie Sanders, Mamdani, now Hakeem Jeffries, Kathy Hochul? I mean, mainstream Democrats, if there's such a thing, are now officially, as of this weekend, throwing in with this. And so it makes one wonder. We see it's non-native born Americans, those who have immigrated and may not even be legal. I think the illegals can vote in New York. They're the ones that are voting for Mamdani. Apparently, those who are native born Americans are voting Cuomo in New York. But my broader question is this a growing problem as you navigate messaging in campaigns? Is the enthusiasm and the fevered pitch for this crazy socialism, Erin? I mean, is this becoming an issue that conservatives have to battle in the future?
This is an issue that conservatives will have to battle, and that's because of how the electorate has changed so dramatically under President Trump. President Trump truly has made the Republican Party a big tent party. He has brought in new voters, first-time voters, those that we call in the political game lower propensity voters. And to get them out again takes more effort. It takes enthusiasm. And since we are in an off-year cycle right now without President Trump at the top of the ticket because he dynamically alters how people turn out, that is going to be a problem that Republicans have to continue to address going into the future. Now, Mamdani in New York, we know that is a deep blue Manhattan area. We know New York City, the likelihood of that going Republican would have been very slim, even in the best case circumstances. But this radical left that's cozying up to socialists Kathy Hochul right now has been on stage with a socialist, and she is now going into 2026 having to try to defend her governorship. That is where Republicans have the opportunity, especially in bluer states like New York, where we think that Elise Stefanik, the congresswoman, is going to run against Kathy Hochul. She has the runway now to reverse that momentum, so that momentum that is surging Mamdani so strongly in the polls, that momentum, she can use that in reverse to say we reject this across the state of New York going into the next midterms. And if you look at a state like Maine, where they now have a man who has covered up a Nazi tattoo, who is surging in the polls after the Nazi tattoo came out, is now ahead of the Democrat governor in Maine running for that U.S. Senate primary. This is who Democrats are. When they show you the Nazi tattoo, when they show you the socialist, you have to believe that is the core of their party, because both of those candidates are unapologetically backed by Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, and I guess, ultimately the broader question is, when Hakeem Jeffries goes from Friday, where he's pressed, do you back Mamdani, to Sunday, where he comes out and enthusiastically does so, what does that tell you? What has happened in 48 hours that Hakeem Jeffries was kind of tortured and not doing it, and then all of a sudden says, okay, I'm in? What happened there politically, do you think?
A lot of political pressure has come in. Democrats are very good behind the scenes. I don't know what kind of torture devices they use, but getting their members back in line. And it's clear, the base, the movement, the strength of the Democrat Party comes from socialism. It comes from communism. It comes from the radical left that believes that the government should dictate how you live your life. Zoran Mamdani believes and supports in confiscation of personal private property. That means in New York, if he decided, he could take your house, and then he could make it into a government-run grocery store and have homeless people riding all over the buses because they will be free. This is a danger to our nation, and it's one that hopefully the pendulum swings back around on, where we can get good conservative electable members into these races and into these seats so that we can start winning and beating back the tide. Because politically, Hakeem wouldn't have done it if it wasn't what the base forced him to do.
Erin Maguire, Republican strategist with us. Big development this morning, just this morning, I read on X anyway. I haven't actually seen this for myself, so I'm cautious, but I think this comes from an accurate source. The American Federation of Government Employees union boss just came out this morning, according to one particular post that I'm reading on X, and said, stand by here, quote, "It's time to pass a clean, continuing resolution and end this shutdown today. No half measures and no gamesmanship." So again, this is the head of the American Federation of Government Employees president. It's time to pass a clean CR and end this shutdown today. No half measures, no gamesmanship. That's a message to Democrats, is it not, Erin?
It is a message to Democrats. Democrats are the ones who have shut down the government. And here in Virginia, where I live, that is hundreds of thousands of people who have not been receiving their paychecks because of the political gamesmanship of Democrats. And I think I've said this before, but we are staring down a Virginia gubernatorial, attorney general, and lieutenant governor races right now. And Democrats, I absolutely have to believe, part of the political calculus here of keeping the government closed, as they have admitted of their own accord on camera, is to put some pain pressure on voters, on Americans, to say, sorry, the government shut. Yeah, it's our fault, but they want to make it worse for you. And in Virginia, that is hundreds of thousands of people. And so, yes, the government should have been open a long time ago. These political games benefit nobody, but Democrats have decided taking the American people's work hostage is more important than doing the American people's work.
I tell you, this government union boss speaking out and going after Democrats, that's a huge development. That tells me we might have a break this week. Erin Maguire, always great to catch up with you on a Monday. Congrats on your Bills again. We'll talk next week.
Big win. Go Bills.